Your family now. Pay your share, my mother-in-law declared at the family meeting, demanding half my income. That's only right, my husband nodded. I smirked, and their smug smiles faded fast when I replied, Then you won't mind if I married Maddox 3 years ago. I was 26 at the time, working in data analytics and making good money. Maddox, not so much. He had big dreams, but no real plans, always jumping from one business idea to another, claiming he was on the verge of something great. I believed in him at first, thought he just needed time. Turns out he needed a full-time sponsor, and I was dumb enough to play the role. For 3 years, I paid most of the bills. Rent? Me. Groceries? Me. Health insurance? Me. Maddox contributed when he could, which wasn't often. His parents, especially his mom, Carol, always made excuses for him. He's just finding himself. Some people take longer to succeed. You should support your husband. I thought it was temporary. I thought he would grow up. I was wrong. One day, Maddox told me his mom wanted us to come over for a family meeting. I assumed it was about his latest financial disaster, which happened often. Maybe she wanted to brainstorm ways to invest in his next big idea. I had no clue I was about to be ambushed. We get to Carol's house, and the entire family is there. His dad, Dawson, his brothers, Jason and Kyle, their wives, even Carol's sister. Everyone is sitting in the living room with serious expressions, as if they were about to discuss a national crisis. I sit next to Maddox. He doesn't seem nervous. In fact, he looks smug. Carol clears her throat, clasping her hands like she's making some big announcement. Since you married into this family, you now owe us half your salary every month. Just like that, like she was stating a simple fact. I laughed. I actually laughed because I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. It's only right, Maddox said, nodding along like a trained parrot. We all share what we have, and right now, you have more than all of us. You have got to be kidding me. I looked around. Let me get this straight. You want me to just hand over half my paycheck to you all, every single month? Carol smiled like she was doing me a favor. We're family, honey, and family helps each other. I looked at Jason and Kyle. So, you guys are contributing too? Kyle smirked. Nah, I don't make enough. Jason wouldn't even look at me. I turned back to Maddox. And you? Are you putting in half of whatever you make? Silence. Carol huffed like I was being difficult. Sweetheart, you make more than enough to take care of all of us. We've supported Maddox his whole life, and now it's your turn. We're a unit, and we have to take care of each other. Supported Maddox? I repeated. You mean you enabled him? Maddox grabbed my hand, giving me the please don't embarrass me look. Look, it's just money, babe, he said softly. You still get to keep half. Oh, okay, I get it now. This was a plan, a long con, and I was the sucker. I stood up, grabbed my purse, and smiled. Well, then, you won't mind if I stop working altogether. If my money is our money, then I should get a say in how it's used, right? And I say I'm done. I've never seen a group of people look so stupid at the same time. You wouldn't, Carol said, her voice rising. You're overreacting, Maddox said quickly. Kyle laughed nervously. Come on, don't be dramatic, he muttered. I turned to Carol. Do you even hear yourselves? You're not asking for help. You're demanding I become your personal ATM. Carol lost it. You selfish little... I walked out. Maddox chased after me. Are you serious right now? Maddox snapped when we got outside. You expect me to just hand over half of my paycheck like I owe you? Like I owe them? It's about family, he said, as if that was an actual reason. No, it's about control. It's about you not wanting to work while I fund your entire family's lifestyle, and I'm done. Maddox ran his hands through his hair. Look, babe, I know... No more, babe. You showed me exactly where I stand in this family. I'm just the money. That's not true. Really? I crossed my arms. Would you have told me about this little plan if I made less money? Silence. That's what I thought. I didn't go home with him. I went straight to a friend's house and spent the night. While I lay there staring at the ceiling, I realized I had been stupidly blind. This wasn't out of nowhere. There had been so many signs. Maddox never taking real steps to get a stable job. Carol always talking about how women should contribute, but never holding her sons accountable. The way Maddox defended his family no matter what, even when they were clearly in the wrong. They had been grooming me for this exact moment, and now they thought I would just hand over my future. Not happening. I woke up the next morning in my friend's guest room feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. My phone was blowing up. 10 missed calls from Maddox, 5 from Carol, a string of texts that went from let's talk to full-blown threats. I ignored them all. I wasn't ready to deal with them yet. Not until I had a plan. I didn't go home. Instead, I went to work like nothing had happened. It felt weird, like I was living a double life, sitting in meetings, analyzing data, while my entire marriage was crumbling in the background. By noon, I had a new text from Maddox. If you don't come home, I'm moving your stuff out. Oh, so now we were playing games. I replied, go ahead, just make sure you don't touch anything I bought. Shouldn't be hard since I paid for almost everything in that apartment. Silence. An hour later, another text. You're being ridiculous. We need to talk. No, we didn't. I left him on read. That night, I checked into a hotel. I wasn't ready to face him alone just yet. Sitting on the bed, scrolling through my texts, I considered my next move. Option 1, go back, argue it out, and try to fix things. Yeah, right. Option 2, pack my stuff, walk away for good, and never look back. Or option 3, make them wish they'd never messed with me. Take a wild guess which one I went with. The next day, I showed up at our apartment while Maddox was at work. I changed the locks. Then I went through every receipt, bank statement, and online order confirmation I could find. Everything that proved what I paid for. The rent, the furniture, the car insurance, the damn Wi-Fi. By the time I was done, I had a solid list of what was mine, and I wasn't leaving without it. Maddox came home at 6 p.m. He tried his key. It didn't work. I opened the door just enough to see his stupid, shocked face. What the hell is this? I pay for this apartment, I said. If you want in, you can ask nicely. Or better yet, get your own place. His face turned red. You're insane. No, I'm just done being used. You can't do this. I already did. He shoved the door, trying to push past me, but I had a surprise waiting. My friend Sam stepped into view. Sam is ex-military, built like a tank, and she doesn't take crap from anyone. I'd rethink that, buddy, she said, crossing her arms. Maddox froze. Sam smiled. We're just here to collect her things, since she's the one who actually paid for them. Maddox looked ready to explode. You're ruining everything. No, I corrected. You did that all by yourself. As expected, Carol got involved immediately. She called me that night screaming, You locked my son out of his own home? No, I locked myself into my home. You're trying to destroy this family? Funny, I thought this family was all about helping each other. Where's my help, Carol? You little... I hung up. The next morning, I woke up to a legal-sounding email from Carol. She must have Googled how to sound like a lawyer because it was a mess. You are illegally withholding financial contributions from your spouse, which constitutes financial abuse. If you do not immediately pay your required share to the family, we will pursue legal action. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my coffee. Legal action for not giving them my paycheck? I forwarded it to my lawyer, who replied with one sentence. This is nonsense. Ignore it. So I did. But I knew they weren't done. Carol was desperate, And desperate people do stupid things. A week later, I got a call from my bank. "We have a flagged transaction on your joint account." "I don't have a joint account." "It's under Maddox's name, but your paycheck was deposited into it, and someone just tried to withdraw $5,000. My stomach dropped. That lying sack of garbage? I went straight to the bank. Turns out, Maddox had linked my payroll direct deposit to his account without my permission. I sat across from the bank manager, who was already suspicious. "Can you prove you didn't authorize this?" "Oh, I could prove it." I pulled up emails, texts, and screenshots. Maddox had no access to my work accounts. There was no written authorization. This was fraud. "Would you like to report this as identity theft?" the manager asked. I smiled. Yes, I would." When Maddox found out I froze the account and filed a fraud claim, he lost it. "You just ruined me!" "No, you ruined yourself." Then he played his last pathetic card. "I love you! We can fix this!" "You stole from me. You let your family treat me like an ATM. There's nothing left to fix." After filing the fraud claim, I cut all financial ties with Maddox. New bank account? Done. Credit cards? Locked. Payroll direct deposit? Changed. Maddox was officially on his own. I expected more texts, more threats, maybe some dramatic tantrums. What I wasn't expecting was what happened next. A week after shutting Maddox out, I got a letter in the mail. It was divorce papers, but something was off. First, I hadn't filed for divorce yet. Second, the papers listed a financial agreement I never agreed to. I had to pay Maddox $2,500 a month in spousal support, cover his health insurance, and surrender 50% of my savings. I texted Maddox, "Nice try, those papers are fake." No response. So I did what any sane person would do. I took the papers to a real lawyer. The moment he looked at them, he laughed. "This isn't just fake, it's illegal. Did they think you wouldn't check?" Apparently, yes, they did. With my lawyer's help, I filed a lawsuit against Maddox and Carol for fraud and attempted financial coercion. Fraud for forging legal documents, financial coercion for trying to extort money from me. I also filed a separate police report. Maddox wasn't just lazy, he was a criminal. Carol wasn't just controlling, she was an accomplice. They thought they could trap me. Instead, they backed themselves into a corner. 2 weeks later, Maddox called me in full panic mode. "You need to drop the charges." Why would I do that? "The cops came to my job. They questioned me in front of my boss." Maybe you shouldn't have committed fraud. Maddox had never faced real consequences before. Carol had always bailed him out, but this time, no one could save him. Carol tried. She showed up at my job, stormed into the lobby, and started screaming about how I was ruining her son's life. Security had to escort her out. Her last words before they dragged her away, "You'll regret this." She was right, because the next thing she did changed everything. A week after her meltdown, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Maddox's landlord. "I'm calling because I understand you were financially responsible for Maddox's rent?" "No, I wasn't." "That's strange. Your name is listed as the co-signer on his lease." What? I had never signed anything for Maddox's apartment, which meant he or Carol had forged my signature again. I asked the landlord to send me a copy of the lease. Sure enough, my signature was on it, but it wasn't mine. Carol had faked it. This wasn't just fraud, this was identity theft. At this point, I had enough evidence to bury them. I filed another police report. Carol got a visit from the cops. This time, she didn't storm into my job or threaten me over the phone. She went silent. Why? Because she knew. She had dug her own grave, and I was more than happy to let her fall into it. Maddox finally broke. One night, I got a text from an unknown number. It was him. "I'm sorry." "For what?" "Everything." I stared at the screen. I should have felt something, but I didn't, because I knew this wasn't real regret. Maddox wasn't sorry for what he did. He was sorry for getting caught. And I was finally free. After Maddox's pathetic attempt at an apology, I knew I was on the home stretch. The fraud charges against him and Carol were pending investigation. The cops had already questioned both of them, and things were looking bad, really bad. Carol, who had spent years controlling everyone around her, was now in panic mode. She wasn't as powerful as she thought. And Maddox, he was spiraling. Then the biggest revelation came out. One evening, I was sitting on my couch going through my emails when a new one popped up. Subject line, "Urgent. You need to see this." It was from a woman I didn't recognize. "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I dated Maddox a few years ago. I just found out about everything going on, and I think you need to know something." Attached were a series of screenshots, text messages between Maddox and Carol, bank statements with payments labeled "Mom Loan Repayment," a legal document with my forged signature, and worst of all, a contract with my name on it, agreeing to financially support Carol for 5 years. It was dated before Maddox and I even got married, meaning this was their plan all along. I wasn't the wife. I was the retirement plan. I didn't text Maddox. I didn't call. I went straight to Carol's house. When she opened the door, her fake smile dropped instantly. "You need to leave." I stepped inside anyway. "You want to explain this?" I said, holding up my phone. Her eyes darted to the screen, the messages, the contract, the proof. She swallowed hard. For the first time, she looked nervous. "I don't know what you think you found, but—" "Drop the act, Carol," I snapped. "You planned this. You planned all of this. Before we were even married, you were setting me up to bankroll your pathetic family." She opened her mouth to deny it, but then Maddox walked in. His face went white. "What's going on?" "Ask your mother," I said, still holding up my phone. He glanced at the screen and his entire body stiffened. "Busted." Carol tried to recover. "That's old. That's not what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like," I shouted. "You knew." I turned to Maddox. "You knew she was using me and you went along with it." He couldn't even look at me. "Say it," I dared him. "Say it to my face. Say you didn't know." Silence. That was all the confirmation I needed. "You're a liar, a con artist, a coward." My voice was shaking with anger. "I spent years thinking you were just lost, just trying to find yourself. But no, you knew exactly what you were doing." He finally snapped. "What was I supposed to do?" Maddox yelled. "You had everything. A career, money. Mom was struggling. I had nothing. So instead of being a man and working for your own life, you decided to steal mine." Carol jumped in. "Don't talk to him like that. He's your husband." "Not anymore." She froze. "What?" "I'm done. I already started divorce proceedings. I'm taking back everything that's mine. And after this fraud case goes through, you and your son can rot together." Carol screamed. Maddox begged, but I walked out and never looked back. A few weeks later, the fraud case wrapped up. Maddox was charged with identity theft and fraud. He got probation and a record, which meant getting a job was going to be a nightmare. Carol was forced to pay fines for forging legal documents. She tried to fight it in court, but the judge saw right through her lies. Their entire family fell apart. Jason and Kyle, who always laughed at my expense, turned on Maddox when he couldn't mooch off me anymore. And me? I thrived, got an even better job, moved to a new place without a single toxic leech around me, met someone new, someone who actually respects me. And the best part? I never had to deal with them again.